So if you are taking a long time to make decisions, or maybe you don't know how to make some significant decisions, and instead of actually making the decision, you end up not making a decision and kicking the can down the road. Little did you know, and maybe you did know, but little did you know that not making a decision is a decision in itself, and that's the decision not to act.
Welcome to the Painter Growth Podcast, where we help you scale your painting company in record time. Join us as we explore sales, marketing, hiring, finances, leadership, and more, everything that you need to know to scale and grow your painting business. I hope you enjoy and subscribe.
I want to thank the sponsor of today's episode, HireBus. HireBus is founded by badass entrepreneur and friend of the show, Brandon Vaughn. And HireBus will help you hire the top 3% of applicants, whether you're looking for painters, production managers, sales reps, administrators, or whatever role you need to hire. HireBus makes it super easy by handling the entire sales cycle and just sending you the top 3% of candidates. They also have some really crazy behavioral analytical tools where you can go and see exactly the preferences of the people you're hiring. So check out the link in the description. HireBus has a special deal for listeners of the podcast. Let's get back to it. What is up, everybody? Michael Hickman here, founder of paintergrowth.com, and you're listening to the Painter Growth Podcast. And you got me today, just me, nobody else. And this is going to be a banger today. This is going to be really, really valuable because I am going to talk about how you can make high value decisions in your business, significant decisions in your business, and run it through a very simple criteria. There are many types of decisions that you need to make in your business on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly basis. And some of them are more significant than others. Some of them are one-way doors, meaning that once you make that decision, it is irreversible and there's no turning back. And some of them are two-way doors, meaning you can turn that around and make that decision and remake that decision if you make the wrong one. Most decisions in business, I would say like 95, 98% of decisions in business are two-way doors. And one of the biggest factors that hold people back in business, that restrain your growth, that restrict you, that hold you back, that keep you small, is your speed in which you make decisions. So if you are taking a long time to make decisions, or maybe you don't know how to make some significant decisions, and instead of actually making the decision, you end up not making a decision and kicking the can down the road. Little did you know, and maybe you did know, but little did you know that not making a decision is a decision in itself, and that's the decision not to act. For example, let's compare this to business coaching, right? Let's say you're thinking about joining Painter Growth, and you hop on the call with my team, and they tell you how much it's going to be, and you're like, wow, this could really help my business, but like, that's a lot of money. I don't know if I want to invest that much money. So you're like, let me think about it for a little bit. Give me 2 weeks, right? And so during those 2 weeks, you go back to business. You get stuck in the same day to day. Your business stays the same. You're still looking for a job. You're still too busy. You're overwhelmed. And 2 weeks goes by, you're in the exact same spot, and you still haven't made a decision. But not making that decision was the decision, because you're like, I'm choosing not to make a decision. Therefore, I am saying no. Now, in that case, it's a very easy two-way door, because you can go back and you can make that decision again. Now, there is a very important component, which is speed of decision making that I was alluding to earlier. And your ability to make a decision quick is directly correlated with your ability to grow your business. Right? The best business people in the world make quick decisions and they stick with them. Should you make irrational decisions? No, but you should make informed decisions as quickly as possible and move on and implement, right? Imperfect execution is better than a perfect idea stuck in your head or stuck in Google Docs or on paper or whatever. So the quicker that you can make those decisions, the better off you're going to be. And you just have to know that some of the decisions that you make aren't going to be perfect. Say you're trying to decide which CRM you want, right? This is a classic example. Say you're either your current CRM, you're outgrowing, or it's too bulky, or it's not working good enough, or maybe you're not on a CRM yet. And you're like, what is a CRM? It's basically like the software that you use to manage all of your clients and what stage they're at, if they're a lead or an estimate or a sale, or they're in production or they're paid or you're waiting for an invoice and you have your client communication, all that stuff. Basically the central hub for your business, like drip jobs, for example. So your decision could be, I need a new CRM, and you want to start your research. So you, like any savvy business owner, you open up a Google Doc and you or Google or ChatGPT, and you ask what the best CRMs are, and you write them all down, and you start a pros and a cons list, and you list each one and the pricing. This one's $10 a month cheaper than that one, or this one doesn't charge for extra users, or this one has phone functionality, this one has text functionality, this one, whatever, can integrate with company cam, or whatever you want. And a novice business owner, even someone who's been in business for a long time but doesn't have a good decision-making framework, will analyze the heck out of this business and ultimately deprioritize it because they'll get busy with something else and they'll forget about it, and therefore they'll never implement that CRM, and they'll kick down, and they'll stay small and they'll stay disorganized, right? Whereas you do some quick research, you get some recommendations, you choose one, you hop on a couple demos, and you pick and you pull the trigger, right? Pulling the trigger on decisions can be scary, right? It can be daunting, but your ability to pull that trigger will help you grow your business quicker, even if with imperfect information and with imperfect information. So you pick a CRM, and as soon as you pick, you commit, you double down, you put everything into it. Just like when you're choosing a partner, a spouse, once you pick and once you commit, all other options are off the table, right? As you're with your spouse for longer, you learn some flaws about them and some things that maybe you didn't know before, and some different preferences or habits that now you're like, you realize their imperfectness. And as a good spouse, you have a decision to either close off all other options because you are now committed, or leave that person and see if you can find a grass is greener scenario, right? Now, ultimately, only you will know if I'm going to go away from the personal relationship because there's a lot around that, and I'm not a relationship counselor. But when you make a decision, only you will know if you can continue with it or you do need to abort. But most of the time, if you do a little bit of research, you get a few references, some referrals or whatever, you will be able to commit to that decision. And you should commit to that decision, and you should take all other options off the table. So if you choose drip jobs, yes, Jobber might have some features that drip jobs might not have. Estimate Rocket might have a different estimating layout that you might like better. But like, you pick a software and you commit to it and you implement the systems and you make it work for your team. Yes, that's a two-way door, but you want to be committed to it. You want to act like a one-way door. So a filter, I want to teach you a decision-making framework that I introduced at our last mastermind in Orlando. And we got a lot of really great feedback on it. So if you're at the mastermind, awesome. Hopefully you can get some extra tips out of this. If you weren't at the mastermind, I think this can really help you revolutionize how you think about decisions. So we call it the RTV Filter. And it is really a simple framework that you can put any decision through in minutes and quickly understand if this is the right decision for your business. So what does RTV mean? RTV means, number one, does it raise revenue? Number two, does it save you time? And number three, does it align with your vision? So I'm going to give you a couple of examples here on how that works, and we'll put a couple decisions through the RTV filter. But breaking those things down a little bit further. Number one, does it raise revenue? So on this raising revenue, actually, and then we do have a bonus under time. Does it save you time, and does it align with your time horizons? So when it comes to raising revenue, there are decisions that you can make that might raise revenue in the short term, but it might not raise revenue in the long term. So does it raise revenue in the long term? Because when we consider time horizons when we're growing our business, it can't just be good for this week or this month. Like, for example, taking a job that's out of scope. You could maybe raise some revenue short term, but it's going to take a lot of your time, might not align with your vision, right? So I'll go into that one in a little bit more detail. So number one, does it raise revenue ideally over the long term? And then number two, does it save you time? As a business owner, we're constantly being nagged at for our time. Everything is your responsibility until it's not, until you can build up a team that can take your responsibilities from you. So if it saves your time in the short, medium, and long term, might take more time in the short term, but in the long term, it will save you time, like bringing on a new CRM. Right now, if your current CRM is clunky and it ends up taking you a lot of time, bringing on a new CRM will take a lot more of your time in the short term, But medium to long term, it's going to save you time because you're not going to be so bogged down with lost notes and improper client communication. And then number 3, does it align with your vision? Vision. So again, just like taking an out of scope project, say you get a lead for an epoxy floor in a garage, and you're like, wow, I could really bring on some cash with this epoxy floor. Now the question is, do we want to add epoxy as a product line? And so if we don't really know how to do epoxies and we're going to be learning it for the first time on this project, then no, it doesn't really align. Well, I mean, you need to make the decision if it's something that you want to do long term. So if it is legitimately, and you've done some research around it and you want to add epoxy flooring as a product line, and this is a great test project because you can make some money, then great. That would be alignment with your vision. But if you are not intending to bring epoxy flooring as a product within your company, and you're just bringing it on for some short-term revenue, like number 1, it'll raise revenue in the short term. But number 2, it's going to take a ton of your time that you could be spending getting ideal jobs for your crews instead of figuring out how to do an epoxy floor. And keep in mind that like if you do that, you could have warranty work. Like you could completely botch it if you don't know how to properly do a coating like that. It could really muck you up, medium and even long term. Like I know a guy who his very first epoxy floor, it ended up failing. I think it was too cold when he did it, or he did it wrong, and it ended up failing. And he was dealing with that for like 2 years. So making those decisions that align with your long-term vision, that align with your the value, the vision that you want to create, the product lines that you want to offer, saving you time, increasing your revenue, putting your decisions through an RTV filter really simplify things and help you make those decisions. Now, this does presuppose that you have a vision for your company. And if you don't have a vision, you really should get one. So just, thinking through where you want your business to be in 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, and even 10 years, if you want to think out that far. How much revenue do you want to be doing? What does your team look like? What does your day-to-day look like? What are your responsibilities? So aligning all of those, very important. Now, here's an example that I want to run through the RTV filter. And this is the example of letting a problematic employee go. So say you have an employee that is a top producer. He kills it. He crushes production. The only challenge is that he is a grump. He's not coachable, won't take any feedback. You get complaints from clients that he's grumpy and he will not work with any other painters, right? So also, if you look at it, about 50% of your calls from employees come from this one person because he's just like, he's needy, he's grumpy, you get complaints, but he's a good producer. He can sure crank out work and he makes me money and profitable jobs, right? As long as I keep this guy on his own, on like commercial projects, then he's good. But like, let's not get him close to a site too, because he's gonna get us some bad reviews. So does it raise revenue? So on a short term, you could say, yes, it does raise revenue because he is a high producer and he paints quickly and generates cash for the business. But if you think long term, what are the risks associated with that when it comes to revenue? Like, oh, he might make other painters quit. He might slow down other painters. We can't put him on other crews. And asking yourself, like, is this the painter that's going to take me to 10 million a year? So short term raises revenue, long term, definitely a risk. Does he get your time back? Good painters and good job site supervisors and job site managers and site soups, they should bring you solutions and like call you, be like, hey, Mike, just want to let you know we had like this problem, that problem, but got it all solved. Don't worry about it. Got a 5-star review, figured it out. But we're good. Just wanted to let you know what happened, right? A poor employee, a low quality employee will come to you and be like, man, Mike, we got a problem. This happened. What should I do? And now you're on the defensive trying to figure out a solution for this guy who came to you with a problem instead of someone who came to you with a solution, something solved, done, right? So if you look at your time, where are you spending your time? This guy, this painter, you're dealing with HR, you're talking to other painters. This painter is like, maybe he's not even needy, but gets some pretty bad reviews, or like, even though he's a good painter. So just be realistic with yourself. Is it someone who takes your time, right? Or does he give you time back? And then V, long-term vision alignment. Like I said before, is this the type of person that's going to help you get to 10 million a year? To get to that level, you need people who are autonomous, who do the work, who can bring you solutions, who are leaders, right? Who take work off your plate. And if he adds even an ounce of work to your plate as an employee of your team, that's not the person that's going to take you there, right? And it's difficult, especially if you have long relationships with your painters. You might have been working with you for 5 years, 10 years. But if he's a toxic person, you got to let go of that person. And using the RTV filter makes it very clear. We talked a little bit about taking a job outside your scope already as I was going through it, but let's run one more, which is like, say you want to buy a boom lift. Okay. So if you want to buy a boom lift and you're like, man, I'd love to have a boom lift. That would be sick. This is actually a really easy one to run through the RTV filter because it's like very calculatable. So RTV, R, does it raise revenue? Well, let's think about it. Over the last 3 months, how much did you spend on boom lift rentals? Okay. How much does a boom lift rental cost? What are your potential cost savings going to be around a boom lift? You don't have to go rent it. You don't have to drive to get it. You don't have to return it. You don't have to, whatever. Where are you going to store it? Is that going to be a cost? What's it going to do to, can you, on projects that maybe you weren't using a boom lift before, now you can bring this one, right? Is that going to raise your revenue? So you can actually calculate that pretty good. Number 2, T, does it get your time back? Currently with rentals, how much time are you spending? Is it going to save your team's time? Because, like I said, renting it, picking it up, dropping it off, and also increasing efficiency. And then V, does it align with your long-term vision? So do you want to be the type of company that has boom lifts? Do you have a lot of big projects in your area that would benefit from a boom lift? So if yes, then great. If no, then you want to stay interiors, like that's fine too. But you need to run it through your vision alignment to see if it makes sense. So only you can know, right? Knowing the cost of it, what your payments are going to be, and how much that's going to save. And also, most importantly, I would say, using it on the projects that otherwise you wouldn't have rented a boom lift for. What kind of efficiencies will that get you? I think you can make that decision yourself, right? Don't just buy it because you want it. Put it through the filter and see if that makes sense. Now, using this RTV filter, what I'll do is we had a worksheet that we gave out at Mastermind. I'm going to put the worksheet in the description, and you can download it and use it on some decisions that you make. And so what I want to do is I want you to text me, okay? I want you to give me a text. This is different, and we're going to try something different. If you have a question that you want me to answer on the next podcast, I want you to text me at 607-652-1938. I'll put that number below as well. So send me a text, 607-652-1938, 1938, 607-652-1938. Also be in the chat below. And send me a text. First, just text me the word podcast and then your question, just so I know where it came from. I'll get back to you, and we'll jam. We'll have some fun. I want to know what you want to hear on this podcast so I can provide the most value. If you have a brush buster question or just a question for me personally, let's get after it, guys. So if you have any questions, shoot me a text. Thanks for listening. Have an awesome day. See you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Painter Growth Podcast. If you want to grow your painting business, go to www.paintergrowth.com or click on the top link in the description. Talk soon.